Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachal Kodash, the mourners under the elders, Apostle Great Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving him in truth and sincerity. Yes, on the brother Chayaba from Zeman's Point Devil's Camp, coming back with another lesson to his spirit. So this lesson be touching on with the 3-eye atlas. Basically, I'm sure many have already heard about this. Well, basically going into an extraterrestrial object, that would be basically, Esau and these other nations have been tracking. And then we know how a lot of these extraterrestrial objects, obviously there is nothing that Esau could build himself. We know, of course, how the scriptures go into the chariots of the Lord. What the so-called UFOs, the so-called UAPs, going into the chariots of the Lord, as the scriptures say, there are 20,000. So, whenever you see these so-called UFO sightings, guess what? Those are the chariots of the Lord. What they say, how this 3-eye atlas is half the size of the sun. So you can imagine that. Get in real quick, Zechariah chapter 1, or just like it, Zechariah chapter 5 and 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roe. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roe. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is a curse." So this is Zechariah seeing a chariot. Same thing, or, again, chariots could come in any sizes that they want. They could be super massive, like this one, the Right Atlas, or what they could be. You basically, you could see them flying within the Earth's atmosphere. So it's much smaller. But the point is that they can come in any size as they want. These are the heavenly vehicles of the Lord. So of course, it says, Zechariah 5 and 3, "Then said he unto me, This is a curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it." Yeah, so these so-called UFOs you see, so-called UAPs, again, these are the chariots of the Lord, and what they're going forth as a curse over the face of the whole earth. So meaning, Lord's not sending these things back, or these chariots back, or what? The Lord's not sending back his son, Yahushai, and along with the angels accompanying Yahushai within their chariots. As the scriptures say, Yahushai is going to come back in a massive chariot, going into 2 Ezra chapter 13, where it goes into how Ezra's likened it onto as if a mountain came up out of the earth. That's how, but basically he wasn't able to see the ends of the chariot. That's, of course, how grand it was. So once Yahushua comes back, you won't be able to see the ends of it either. So again, this 3-eye atlas, as they said. Well, let's look up 3-eye atlas size according to what Esau says. Oh, well, now they're changing it, but there's another article going into how it's half the size of the sun. Let's go ahead and look that up. Oh, well, now they're saying it's a myth, but again, but we understand how Yahushua's chariot, again, you won't, once he comes back, it's going to cover the whole. Ultimately, you won't be able to see the ends of the chariot. Because again, it's going to cover the whole sky. So again, the Lord sending this back as a curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth should be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth should be cut off as on that side according to it. Yeah, again. So these aren't anything to be beholding as if, oh, these are cool objects. No, ultimately these are cursed that goeth forth over the face of the earth. Over the whole earth. Well, it's a blessing for the elect of the nation of Israel, because what we understand how these are the chariots of our salvation. But what we understand how on the flip side, these are a curse onto the wicked. It's a curse onto everyone else who won't receive salvation. Ultimately, we understand how only the elect of the nation of Israel will receive salvation, but the other nations, obviously, the other nations aren't. And the 2/3 of the nation of Israel are not. So going to Revelation 19 and 11, it says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war." And this is Yahushua, of course, the one who is called Faithful and True. And that white horse is symbolic onto the chariot that he's going to come back in. Again, the same chariot, the same object that's mentioned within 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Well, it all links together. It says, "And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. In righteousness he doth judge and make war." Exactly, because Yahushua is not coming back to unite all nations. He's coming back, to divide and to conquer. Because we understand how Esau wants to create an NWO. Well, guess what? The Lord's going to break all that up. Well, he's going to make war. As Scripture's going to, also there's going to be a war in heaven. Meaning, Esau's going to be sending his fighter jets, his helicopters, his, whatever, to try to to try to fight against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. To try to fight against Yahushai and his angels. Which, as Scriptures say, yet they durst fight. Because we understand how the Lord is going to put a spear upon Esau, to fight. And as well as these other nations. Because again, these are going to be things that we have never seen before. We're seeing glimpses, of course, with these so-called UFO sightings and so-called UAP sightings. But again, what we see, what we actually see in that day is going to be much greater. But so literally to the point where the Lord will have to put a spear upon Esau to fight. Skipping down, it says verse 15 of Revelation chapter 19. It says, "And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power." Exactly, because we understand Yahushua, again, he's coming back to conquer all nations. He's not coming back to unite all nations. He's coming back to deliver his people, Israel, the nation of Israel. And no, I'm not speaking about those small hats, the fake people in the land today. No, referring unto the scattered of Israel. Of course, the Israelites, and obviously the true Israelites, which we have been scattered from our land. Yeah, you might have, of course, a few amongst, those again, modern day Israel today. That's Israel, because again, our people have been scattered amongst the whole world. But again, the majority of us have been scattered. You'll find, of course, within Babylon and Great, that's where, of course, you'll find the bulk grouped up together with the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. But again, our people have been scattered. So as the scriptures say, the Lord's going to gather us up out of the lands which we have been scattered to, and will bring us back onto our own land, our land, which is the nation of Israel. And no, it's not the state of Israel, because obviously the biblical Israel is much bigger than the state of Israel. So that's the point. So you understand how this, again, these objects, Esau is afraid, and as the scriptures say, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. It says Jeremiah 10:2, or start of verse 1, it says, Hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Exactly. So what? Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. When you get the word for dismayed within the Hebrew word is chathath, meaning to be shattered, be broken, be abolished, be afraid. Yeah, basically to be terrified, to be afraid. What Esau and these other nations, they're afraid. That's why, again, we're reading the UN's Three-Eye Atlas becomes the UN's official target in a planetary defense exercise. It says the United Nations and IAWN documentation clarifies that the Three-Eye Atlas activity is formally recognized as the 8th IAWN observing exercise. This initiative, conducted under the International Asteroid Warning Network, forms part of a multi-year effort to strengthen global preparedness against near-Earth objects. So what Esau's saying, oh no, it's just a comet. Oh no, it's just this, it's just that. Hey, ultimately, you can't get past that. What? There are chariots, and they can come in any form that they want to come in. And ultimately, they're coming back to destroy Esau and take down these other nations. Of course, Yahushua commanding the chariots what to do his bidding, what to deliver the elect, and to what? And obviously, we know, of course, there's going to be a nuclear war that takes place in amidst all of that. So will Babylon the Great be destroyed by nuclear fire? Because the Lord's going to kill two birds with one stone, use these other nations to completely devastate Babylon the Great with their missiles. Because again, these nuclear missiles aren't being prepared, just to collect dust. Ultimately, the Lord's putting the spear upon these other nations to prepare them, so that they be used, obviously. They're going to be shot upon Babylon the Great. So the scriptures going to a World War 3. And also they're going to be shot upon Israel, because it's going to have to be purified from all the wickedness that's happening in that land as well. So I believe that's the point. Lozo you bless the edified. Yahweh Basim Yahushai Pashim Kakurash Prakathem. Shalom.